please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. First order of business would be to approve the minutes from last week.
I'll make the motion.
Tim has moved.
Second.
Jesse seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Anything under consent? Miscellaneous motion, we had one hand delivered to us, so I guess I'll go through it first. Move to approve the 2022 insurance renewal with Trust Point Insurance, Burlington, Kansas. I think there was some discussion on it. I mean, we haven't really got the numbers finalized yet, but we just have to go ahead and renew it, and then things will be added and deleted and this, that, and the other as we go, so. Bob's moved.
Second.
Don seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the county clerk, move to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the year 2022 cereal malt beverage license to Travel Centers of America, located at 2775 U.S. Highway 75, Lebo, Kansas, 66856.
I'll make the motion.
Tim has moved.
Second.
Who seconded? I'm sorry. Jesse seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next would be upon the recommendation of county clerk, move to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the year 2022 cereal malt beverage license to Conoco Travel Center, Cedar Valley Investments, DBA Fuel Espresso, 11, located at 2754 U.S. Highway 75, Northwest Lebo, Kansas, 66856.
I'll move.
Jesse's moved.
I'll second.
Tim seconded. All in favor?
Aye. We don't really use Northwest and all that in our addresses anymore. I noticed the first one has it on it, but the second one didn't have it, the second one does, but we don't really use those anymore. I mean,
I'll make a note of that for
Yeah.
next time.
Next one would be move to authorize direct the chairman to sign 4 tax abatements in the total amount of $978.88. We have a list of them there with the reasons stated.
Leroy Lebo.
So moved.
Don's moved.
Second.
Jesse seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. That gets us through that. First on the agenda is Carl Lee.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
What it is, I've been working on the plant's wheel for Motorola, and he's wanting to finish up the contract. But we've had some issues with, I shouldn't say issues, but there's some things I've seen in discrepancies within them. I wanted to make sure we took care of before we signed off on our deal with Motorola. And as part of that, what it was is somehow it was missed during the original bidding process of getting a 100 for the fire radios, getting AES encryption on 145 of the radios. Now the AES encryption is for securing talk groups, and that's the best encryption we can buy. And somehow it slipped through the, I got one for each of them. And somehow it was missed, and so I've been working with Lance Wheel on that, and he finally went to bat for us with management, and got it on the slip of paper right here. It says $145,000. That's what our cost was going to be just to get the firmware for him. And I buckled back on him and gave him a little bit of, and talked to him a little bit on it, and we had a conference call with him last week, and he was able to get it. After he went to bat for us, talking to management, got it reduced down to $72,000. They took 50% of the cost, Motorola did. Now, our consultant that's been helping us with this, JJ, said that that's pretty unheard of in Motorola taking that big of a bite. But in order to keep things moving towards wrapping up the contract term, and we're at the end of the year, they priced that to us, and I'd also given you a change of order contract. And what that does is it changes the contract we had with them. But what we would have to do is pay them an additional $72,587 to get the firmware. And JJ Stutler will be working with our partners with us to get the firmware installed on the code plugs of the radios.
I think the last documents we've seen, Carl, I was thinking the radios cost us in that 2.1, 2.2 range.
This is what he had given us
Which,
which is the 1.8 for whatever reason why it's down from that. I couldn't tell you without going back and researching the whole document.
It's been coming up on a year since we done that, if I remember
Right.
right.
But this is a significant change, and that's why they're wanting to do a change.
And that's why I was kinda agreeing with Don. It's two something.
it was over 2.
I'd have to go back and look
2.1,
at that.
2.2, 2.3.
Okay.
Remember that, Bob?
Yeah, but I do, but it really, that's not the point of this. The whole point of this is that it was really nobody's fault. It wasn't Motorola's fault. It wasn't our fault. When we got the new radios,
Maybe it is somewhat irrelevant, but I mean, if the original contract value is 1.8,
but that didn't include this.
I'd like to know what we paid
I
them.
agree that,
I
but
wanna
I
know
thought
what
the
we paid.
original contract was like 2.1.
Well, I thought it was 2 something myself.
But, so, nevertheless, I agree with you that this change order is, less than 5%, so.
What's a change order that needs to be done, but
Yeah, it needs to be done so that, one, we can purchase
Well,
the AES encryption.
I would like to see that, that total number though, because I think Tom.
I have it, I just gotta find it within the book.
Yeah, okay.
because it was over 2, the original
Yeah.
contract.
Not that we wanna pay that.
No, I
If they
get
want
it.
us, if they wanna go down, we're
Yeah.
fine.
I'm good with it being lower than what it was estimated.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, as we discussed, it was something that was just missed, and I went back and through and scrubbed the documents pretty hard myself, looking through all the different pages, because they locate different things on different pages, kind of keep in a state of confusion, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And anyways, Lance and I talked, he went back and talked to his people and looked through the documentation, he goes, somewhere it was just overlooked on both sides. And he was able to convince his management to give us a 50% reduction, because they did start out at list price, and list price I think was $178 to the consumer. And then they give us the state price, which is the $145, and then they came down to the $72.
Well, the main thing is they're trying to work with us to make it right.
Yes, it is. I constantly
It's kind of
remind
hard-
them that we send them a good check.
Kind of a partnership deal.
I mean, I was just one of those, I just constantly keep reverberating. I said, this is about the only thing I found within this where we really haven't had any issues with you guys. And so, need to work with us a little bit more. And they have so far.
There's really not any other players in this kind of stuff, is there, anymore?
There's other companies like Kenwood and Harris, but they're not the players that Motorola is.
Yeah.
They're not. But JJ Stutler's been helping us, providing us with some consultation, our radio group. We've had some of the best radio meetings I've ever been involved with this last year, with JJ being there to be kind of act as a translator between us and Motorola and explaining this to us and getting us headed on the same track. And this is where we finally feel like we're getting on top of this, to where we're headed in the right direction with everything we have.
So,
Randall, you remember some of that maybe, but I think it was 2.1, but if we did it all as one package, that's what maybe took us down to that 1.8.
To be honest with you, I've slept since then.
Yeah, it was February
Yeah.
February of last year, so.
it started out at 2 something.
And then if we did it, the whole package as one, we got a discount for that, and that's right.
I think you're right on that.
So,
I think that's
In one
right.
part of this, it says 2.1.
but then if we did everything,
I don't remember talking about a discount, but there could have been.
I'm
There's
thinking-
something that, it started out at 2.1, but I can't tell you exactly what it was.
But
And that's when they lowered it to the 1.8.
Yeah, but, and that, I think that reason was because we did everything instead of just piecemealed it.
Unless there was something in dispatch they decided not to go with, that might have ruined something, I can't
I
answer
think
that.
discount was
At
not
the time.
piecemeal.
Well, I know when we first started, we were going to piecemeal it, we were going to because EMS and fire and those could not afford to do it all. And then when we said, hey, we will do it, and we did it all at once, that might be where the discount.
I believe that is correct now that I think about it. And you're right, we've slept several times since February 11th, so. So, yeah,
With that, I would make that motion that we go with Motorola for this change order number 001 for amount of $72,587, and the money to be paid from, equipment reserve general.
I'll second.
Mr. Secretary, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. And authorize the chairman to sign. We need to in the motion too, I would assume, so.
Yeah, authorize you to sign the, change order?
Yes.
Well, we basically did, when we approved it, we did, right?
Yeah, well-
Sign a check,
We
and the bingo.
kind of basically approved something one time too, but still, come back and make a motion, so.
Yeah, there's a-
Hey, Bob,
We just-
when we're done with the meeting, can I make a copy of that? Keep it.
You can have this.
What it was, is I found the page finally. Well, what it was is we ended up getting a $210,000 discount because we bundled system discount, contract price by March 30th. And that's what reduced it to 1.892.
10%.
She might want that.
You want that one?
I'm just kidding.
Thank you. I knew it was something like that.
Well, I've marked a tremendous amount.
Yeah,
Trying to, trying to stay on top of it and help our partners out.
so just make me one to sign, and give me one to sign, and I'll pass it back to Carl Way.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna ask, do I sign or does Tom have to sign the change of the order?
Who signed the?
The original was Cody the original contract was, signed by Cody Haddock.
That was chairman.
Yeah, that's chairman.
Let's continue with that aspect. then.
Okay. I marked on mine, or I just signed it.
I'll just throw this out there, because Jared won't, but when we talked about radios, Jared cut way back on what he needed, and it got to very minimum to get him by, because he didn't think they had the money to do it. Then we came in and we did it, and he was sitting there going, I should have asked for more. But he's getting by with what he's got, I guess, so, as of now.
Maybe that's why he's here.
Well, I think there's gonna be some more radio stuff coming through down the road, so.
As a radio group, JJ Steller's helped us identify issues and things that we need to do to continue to increase our public safety through our radio program. And through the discussions we've had in the last year, as a group, our group is EMS, law, fire, emergency management, and city law, and dispatch. And we've identified things that we would continue wanted, and a commission's involved too. But we would continue to identify, and we're gonna start working on our next stage of what we want to improve within our public safety as far as our radios. And that would be the issue of, we'd like to increase our coverage in some of our more rural areas to where we can get about 95% coverage with our handheld radios in Coffee County. So,
Have they put any more tires up?
not locally, no, the state hasn't. Counties are being more active in doing it.
Right, I figured the counties were, but I just
Right.
didn't know if there was any other tires.
I mean, we're looking at the map that Bob has right there beside you. That's one of our coverage maps that JJ put together for us, in which for Nebo, Gridley, and Leroy, which are big areas in which we've got some voids. It's just due because of how the land lays. Looking at what it would cost for us to put up towers in those areas, and JJ's going to put that together for us instead.
Isn't there still a lot of dead spots over at Waverly?
Since KDOT put up that brand new tower over there, it's taken up a lot of that slack, and then also Franklin County has put up a tower over there close to it also. So it hasn't become a necessity like it has in Leroy, Gridley, and to the south of Lebo.
I was thinking they was gonna just go on top of the concrete elevator there at Leroy, and on top of a structure at Gridley.
He's looked at that in the past, cause he was talked about that, but he was looking at it as how we would be able to service it and take care of the system as modernization occurred, and he was thinking more along the lines of having an individual tower next to one of our fire stations, because we have buildings already there, and the way that the stations are built, it wouldn't take anything but a little bit of room upstairs in order to wire it into the building and have it all right there. And then we'd also put a generator in, also to always have emergency power there with that tower.
Some of the stations already have generators, so.
Right, but that'll all be part of our discussion as we move forward as a group. But these things are all discussed within our group, and if you guys wanna attend with Bob, you're more than welcome.
I think they're south of Lebo, there at the first curve would be an awesome place for a tire. I even think you could hit, they might even look at some of that for the Jacobs Creek, internet. You'd shoot right across from hill to hill over there at Jacobs Creek to get good internet there too.
But those are, yes, we're assessing that, where would be the ideal spots for us, and we had that as part of our last discussion in our radio group meeting.
Cause that's on a hill as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the valleys are okay. I mean, seems like when you come around that first curve and go down that hill, that is a dead spot for cell phones even
right
there.
And you have to bear in mind also, as we do this, anytime that we got a lot of vegetation, a lot of trees, as you go through those areas, that eats up the radio waves.
Mhm.
That's clutter that stops it,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, your canopy.
Yeah. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for investing in our public system.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Take
Thank you,
care.
guys. Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year too. Well, that's the agenda. We'll go
You
ahead.
go.
You need a break?
It's been 17 minutes.
So, looking through these folders of things I need to sign, had this cereal malt beverage licenses that we moved to approve. There's something in here from Jared Gilmore and Phillips
I don't know.
that's requiring a signature. Basically, it's overview of the year and stuff they've done for 2020. So,
Yeah, we got that last week.
did we approve that?
I don't think we did any action on it.
We didn't take any action, I went on.
Okay, she may have just had that in that folder.
I left mine.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was,
Yeah, Terry just handed it to me and said that,
I guess.
in there, so I just took the folder.
no, that's fine, but I just didn't wanna be signing something that
Yeah, I guess not, I don't know.
we hadn't made a motion on signing, I guess what I was trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Funny, I can remember something February of last year, but I'm not remembering.
Not remembering anything.
We
else.
didn't take, I don't think we took action on it.
I don't think-
it.
Uh-uh.
This is just for the landfill, correct?
To
This
be
is
honest
just for
with
the
you,
landfill, correct?
yes,
So we're in compliance with KDHE.
okay,
That's all this is.
so do we need to make a motion to approve me to sign this?
I'm texting Angie.
Well, we can
I
table
think
it,
we do.
table it for now if you wish.
That's not signed, right?
No, ma'am.
It's got Angie,
It's not,
at the
she
blow.
has not signed it, neither have I just didn't want to say, be signing something that we hadn't made a motion on signing yet.
And the last page doesn't say anything on who signs, it just says signature and title.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's nothing in the minutes that we approved that.
Okay, she said, actually, I think it's just a file, it was an FYI I gave them last week.
Right,
Okay, so she should have pulled that out last week and filed it.
good enough.
Take care of that.
Thank God for cell phone.
That's why we didn't,
You want that to put back on her desk, or?
He'll put that one in there.
I guess that's why we didn't take any action again.
Yeah.
So, with that, I guess we can move right into checks and vouchers. You can take a break at your leisure.
Bring my pillow.
That's Thursday.
Nobody wants to hear me snore.
Speaking of Thursday, has it been determined what time we necessarily need to be here?
Well, it's usually around 11.
It's usually when, sorry?
Around 11?
Last week she didn't know when it would be, so.
Is that when we're having your party?
No,
No.
that's when you're signing your in stuff. If you wanna come to my party, it's tomorrow from 10 to 1.
From 10 to 1? Okay.
Oh, your retirement?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't see a notice on that. Thanks for that.
I thought you put one in all the baskets.
10 to 1 up here.
Yeah, we're just doing snoops. I'm not one to go sit in the basement for like 3 hours, you know?
Glad to get out of the basement.
Yeah.
I almost went down to the basement this morning. Jessica was like, they're not down there anymore. I was like, oh yeah.
It's nice seeing this outside.
There was one other thing, guys.
Uh-oh.
An application to donate leave from Art Eccles. I'm assuming I can say that. Too late, I can't. He's donating 160 hours of sick leave to shared leave program.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Can you do that?
So, do we need to make a motion to approve that?
I think Andrea has to sign that,
And I think the question,
Chairman of the Board, County Commissioner.
but I think Andrea has to sign it first.
Okay,
I think there's a process, Art, Andrea, and then you.
okay.
and
Wayne signed it.
I know the question was asked and that I couldn't answer was that if somebody donates, they're retiring, they donate 160 hours. So when they're paid the remainder of their sick leave, does another 160 come off that, or is the remainder what they get paid?
They get the donation, when they donate it, it's gone.
Right. And I think 'cause everyone was under the understanding that when you cash out on your sick leave, 160 is taken off of it, and then you get paid half of the balance. So if you donate that 160, is that the 160 that would have come off this, or do they take, now that this is your balance, you've donated that, so does the 160 come off of what you have remaining now?
What's it?
No,
No,
you
160
started out with
comes off.
581, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The 160 comes off of 581.
581, and he has 100, yeah, that's his balance, yeah.
So he will get half of 421.
I don't know if it's half, 'cause I don't know about that one.
You get paid for half of what's left.
50% of
The
what,
policy actually reads, get paid at half rate pay, but that comes up
You
to
just
half the
figure half
hours,
hours,
yeah.
because I'm not changing the rate of pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question was, if you read the policy, it almost reads like you give 160 hours back, because that's what you should keep in case there's a big emergency, like you have a surgery or something, so that you're covered. And then, that's why you give that 160 back, because that was supposed to be like that. And then, the way it reads, if you give that back, the 160 would come off that, but that's not the way it's been done since even before I was here, but someone questioned it.
And I can pull up that section of the policy if you wanna see, 'cause that's how people were understanding it, is that since 160 normally comes off of everybody's balance, if you donate the 160, is that the 160 that comes off the balance, or now
Or do you
that
have,
an additional 160 since now this is your
320.
balance? Right.
That makes no sense to me. I mean, if you had 581, you donated
You donated
160, that leaves you 421 left.
yeah,
You're giving it away.
yeah.
It's gone.
So,
That's the way I would look at it as well.
that's why we're
That's
gonna,
the
what
way
I'd
it's been
say.
since before I've been here, but I
That's why
think
we're
it's
gonna
just one
approve.
in
How's that?
experience.
That works.
If you don't make me $160
Got my name?
yeah.
no longer yours, so what-
Okay, I thought that was
Exactly.
bad. I'm not saying this is horrible, I'm just saying.
But if you had to
I'm
guess
glad
out
to
of the
see.
blue, we
Yeah.
had
Yeah, Jayhawk.
But I'm not the only one in that boat.
Yeah, definitely.
Denise, I'll go make a copy and give it back to you.
I didn't notice we had graffiti in the bottom of the basket.
You know what, I didn't either.
Pitiful, pitiful, pitiful.
I think we've discussed this before, but since this is gonna be a new year starting, this maintain no gain. I still think that it ought to be chamber bucks, not Cabela gift cards, Amazon gift cards. We do this weekly for 8 or 10 weeks. We spend $30 a shot at that. We're just sending money out.
Well, then we need to make a motion to
Change it, I think we need to figure out just how we wanna do those, but I think we probably need to talk to Lindsay.
Okay.
Fire first.
Okay.
We only have one more week left of this maintain no gain, so I mean, we don't need one to change it in the middle of the stream, but
Okay.
I think for other programs, there's others coming on that we need to be supporting local.
You'll need to, once you discuss that with Lindsay, you'll have to talk to Wayne too, because, Road and Bridge has always done their own prices.
I know, they've always had their own little deal down there,
Yeah, which is okay, because they pay for it out of their budget and the wellness committees,
but it's still county money.
yep.
Still county money.
I mean, you can tell him the same thing you tell them, but
I think if one group's given chamber bucks, all of them gives chamber bucks. Fair across the
I
board.
think that's what we ought to just give them chamber bucks.
I did all my Christmas shopping in Burlington.
Chamber bucks?
Hmm?
Give it chamber bucks.
I didn't have any chamber bucks.
Did he get you any? Did he give you chamber bucks? Give them to me anyhow.
I use greenbacks. I can't even shoot a buck, let alone get chamber bucks.
I might hit a buck.
Yeah, pick up.
I got a confirmation, our new tranny will be in 2.5 months.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That good looking little guy.
He is good.
Isn't he gonna be just a rock star here in a few years?
Yeah, he is.
Just 38.
Where's that at?
Deep in the woods.
Location, location, location.
That's right. You got a picture of that Jeep here. Deep in the woods.
Looks good.
Yeah, I enjoy growing them. I mean, I enjoy doing it the right way.
Yep.
Let them grow. You shoot the 120s and 130s, you'll never have, you don't shoot the 150s, you'll never have 180s.
Yeah.
It's true.
And the sad part, they're walking hunting right across the road from me. And I tried to get it out, offered her double the money, the government was. I don't want to hunt it, I just want to use it as a sanctuary for
You
it
bet.
to go to.
This is the rest of that critical.
No pressure.
Make a lady buying boots.
Yeah. Boots.
Where do they get their boots at?
Well, I see one here, got him at Baumgartner.
Baumgart's, good.
Hopefully that continues,
One
that's
of
what I
them, one of
hope.
them got it there.
Maybe get, Wayne renewed the membership for something.
It's for
$269.
his personal, for his, one of his things.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna make me get to work.
I better wait until you're done with that.
I mix them up anyway.
Oh, okay. How do they figure the blade electricity?
They have a meter out there on that, well, I'm not sure.
But it's a reimbursement. So that means an individual
Okay.
paid for
At
it?
their, it's at their house, and they figure a certain percentage of, that the blade, when they plug it in, and the fuel tank pumps, take so much electricity per year.
Okay,
That's the way it's done. And it's on, it's just on their meter.
okay. I think Dawn missed this one. Did I miss one?
You didn't, I did.
No, you didn't.
I just wanted to turn the drum around. Missed it.
Oh.
Amazon gift card. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Getting grabby here.
You got codes for everybody in county going.
I think so.
Lenny
So, yeah,
I just kind of understand it.
it dissolved.
Oh, I know you. Good. Glad to see them guys shopping.
You know, why couldn't a person, now that there is a store in the area, why couldn't a person say, we'll pay for your shoes if you buy them at Baumgart's, but if you go outside, you'll pay 50%? Or zero. Or zero.
You can now, right?
And, yeah, till they opened their business up, wasn't able to, probably. So they've got everything in there.
Makes sense.
Who'd have thought?
I do know for me, on my food seller, there's certain boots I cannot wear.
Right, right.
Don't they have Red Wings?
I don't know what they have. I haven't bought any.
I know they got Ariat,
Ariat.
they got, Twisted X, they've got Carhartt shoes, they've got, I think they got about every brand there.
We might talk to them and see
Maybe they'd run a
discount.
discount.
Because they do give different discounts.
Yeah.
On, they have a senior day, every once in a while, they have 17% discount. On Veterans Day, they gave a 17% discount for veterans. They give a 10% daily for veterans.
Somebody ordered a pair of boots online. Ain't no way I'd do that. Shit. Where did it go?
Maybe yell that.
I do.
It was attached to this other one.
Stuck together.
Some two paper clips, get you
Yeah.
suspicious. Two T-bolt hose clamps. Maybe we'll loop them again. Two T-bolt hose clamps. But they'll loop them to get them.
I'm sure they checked here first. Positive thinking, Bob,
That
positive
old
thinking.
imagination. Okay, I think we do have it.
We do have an account apparently.
Mm-hmm. Cause we buy supplies there, so evidently,
Other than 2-bolt hose clamp.
watch batteries.
Luckily, I had a one in my wallet, and we have money over
They
there.
gotta know when to
We
quit.
pay for the phone, we might as well pay for their watches, right?
I said, I'll go to the bank. I said, what's the?
Bulk bolts, that's good.
I have her feel that.
Ziploc bags, let's put the bolts in.
I'm glad you guys are back.
Might put your sandwich in it.
Jamie's got it now.
Image.
Sandwich.
Damage. And it actually tells you who got it too, so you know, you could do that with. Yeah, there isn't, they gave a count for that, I'm sure they could make they would be glad to make another count, because every count they make is more business for them.
Yeah, I just don't know how you police it. That's the biggest thing. I mean, you're supposed to get, what, 1 pair of boots a year or something like that?
Well, then that started out too. We were going, we made a ruling on that we were gonna buy a pair of boots every 2 years. And the next thing you know, here we'd give $200 to buy a pair of boots every 2 years. Next thing you know, here we are, you're buying them every year and we give you $150. I mean, just management made that change. And then we started buying everybody else in the office clothes and everything else, because wouldn't be fair if you buy the boots, wouldn't be fair if you didn't buy the other people clothes. Like a bunch of kindergartners.
Look, I got the coolest gift from my daughter Jamie. It's a cardinal necklace. But if you open it,
It's got a picture of it.
my mom.
Oh, it's your mom, I'll be darned. That's cool.
She's been gone 17 years this year.
Wow. Fun.
She got her grandma one with Dwayne's dad's picture in it.
Oh.
So the little cardinal came to visit.
That's cool. Didn't Nathan Hollinger leave? I think he left the bridge crew, did he not?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know Nathan Hollander.
Got him pretty work bridge before
Almost,
then.
he's on 32 years.
Here's one of them deals, when we talk about farming stuff out. When Stan Butterfield retired, instead of replacing him, we hire him on the side to do tires. We only use him when he does something, instead of paying him 40 hours a week for that position. It worked out real good for
Well,
us.
you don't have, you have to worry about the insurance or
No.
anything else.
We don't.
Retirement.
Any real reason. I wouldn't change them tires for that.
Okay, on product inventories. Not product, but basically everything we have, when are those done?
Like what?
Like an inventory.
Vehicle, equipment,
The end of the year.
TV, is that?
It's one of the things the auditor does for when they come the year-end inventory.
Alright,
I texted Angie and she said around 11 or 11:30, it will take a little bit of time, but you guys can handle other business while you're waiting
For,
for Thursday.
you want us here about 10:30 then, or?
10:30 works for me.
Who serves breakfast here? Lake County? Anybody?
Donut shop, sandwich shop.
he's closed for 10 days.
Oh,
Finished in the,
Sonic.
Sonic.
You could've turned in there instead of go washing your car.
Hey! I see you sneaking up behind me.
I saw you go by.
It needed it. That's what I get for living on a county road.
You haven't got it paved yet?
Hey, keep it up.
I live in town and the road next to me isn't paved.
You're not doing the right thing if you haven't got it paved yet, Daddy.
That's for you. And I printed off just the page on sick just so that everybody can see it all uploaded.
You're really glad, you better be glad that we've got a metal post right here.
That's just for information. I printed the sick leave page off, just because there's been so many questions on it recently.
The county has never done any work on the road in front of my house.
You don't want them to.
They're working down the road from me right now. To the south. Clean out the ditch.
Weather's been, they haven't missed any work days.
No, they haven't.
it's gonna change.
Pardon?
That's gonna change.
It'll probably change.
Surprising, there's a big spring that's running down the road ditch, and I was shocked that it's running. Either that or we got a water leak.
Might be a water leak up there somewhere. The rural water got a leak on up there somewhere. to keep them cold. I think we buy ice all year round, no matter what the weather is.
Tires and two, okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming 14 or 24. I don't know. 6 of them, $980. Okay.
Tires.
It's all the same price, but did we get them?
Or what, is it bar, skid steer,
Well, I really don't know. There's
Six of
6
them?
tires at $980 a piece.
well, it tells what size they are.
Well, can you make head or tails out of that?
We'll try to down here.
You know,
14 or 24, so it's 24 inch.
14,
road grader tires.
24. Any more there?
BKT E-Max.
Let's see what it pops up.
$1,400, 24.
Yeah, 1400 or 24.
Road
Earth
grader
Max.
Road grader
Okay,
tires.
so the road grader tires, yeah, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Okay. It just seemed odd that,
Well, let's do that a little more. This one.
I don't know what the date on this was. On the bid. Yes, yeah, $1,700. I don't know what the date on this bid was.
Right there.
11, okay, so 11,
201, 2021.
12, okay, so it's just recently.
Mhm.
Wow.
Don't wanna ride many of those. Mm.
You're talking $1,000 tire off of what this price is right now,
Mm-hmm.
and this was just done. $3,600, yeah.
Two for 2,500, one for 1,295, one for 660, and keep in mind, you don't know what they are.
Right, right.
How about a pair for the 24-foot box truck, about 40 or back. Thought I'd bring out a bargain. Within about 20,000 miles, and it was weird. One was on the dual, on the inside dual of the rear truck.
Mm-hmm.
It was already worn out.
Got black.
I don't know why. Made no sense.
I would say it probably had been ran flat. Or the other one had been ran
Looked
flat.
flat.
I bet the watch batteries were for, lasers, probably lasers or something. Some type of,
We have one camera that uses them. We have to go to the job site and it's
It's amazing money we spend on food and junkie. Coffee cups, and Coke.
Well, at least it's spent at Hoover's, right?
So January the 18th, January 17th, we won't be here, so January 18th we'll meet, right?
Yeah.
I gotta take that off.
Get that sale on January the 19th.
Yeah,
It's on Wednesday.
yeah. So we'll meet the 18th.
Yeah, 'cause that 17th is Martin Luther, it's holiday, isn't it?
Yeah. I gotta take that off.
There you go. No, we don't got to sign anything.
Flipped it right off.
You ain't passed anything about it.
Sorry?
You haven't passed anything about it yet.
No, everything's right here.
Okay. Good think about that.
Oh, mercy. Rug reimbursement.
Rug cleaners,
Coffee County Landfill.
mats when you walk in the doors and all that stuff.
We rent a Ranger 4x4.
Evidently. For what? From where?
From Foley.
Who knows?
Wonder if it's on our insurance.
We're on recovery.
There's a lot that goes on you don't know about, just in case you wanna know that.
I raised 4 kids, I thought that was difficult.
Now,
They get 150.
now you.
And they all have availability to spend the night.
Yes. Fuel filters.
You guys probably don't remember, Tom, you might be old enough, remember when the county shop was down there by the East River Bridge? These guys, they wouldn't be able to survive down there, would they?
Cause there's an old wooden barn.
With a dirt floor in it, and a little bitty old office, and they got along just great.
About 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
We had the same thing in Mound City back in '80s.
They got along great, they didn't have to have all this fancy stuff.
They had the barn, basically, it's like you said, it did have a concrete floor. Paul Johnston was the road boss.
And over down there, he'd sweep the office out every once in a while, they didn't have to hire that done.
Over the last generation or two, a lot of things have changed.
No kidding.
Are you gonna rent the 4x4?
I'm good, yeah.
Wait till Jesse gets done, that
Well,
way.
you use it in summer months.
Get him going. Get that lot of changes throughout time.
Yep, Mr. Buckridge worked down there.
He was the,
Lyman?
huh?
Lyman?
Jesse?
Yeah.
Buckridge was I guess he was building maintenance man, wasn't he? Because I don't think he ever went out much and did anything.
They just lived a block down the street.
One of the Davison twins worked there, didn't they?
They worked for the city.
Both of them worked in the city? Okay.
What did we Well, they might have started out county, but they moved into.
I knew one of them worked for, Mark's dad worked for the city, I think.
Yeah,
I didn't know what the other two did, yeah. Yep, and they got along just fine. Of course, we had townships then. Tom's signed that.
I forget something.
Yeah, usually wait. Usually you sign that one, don't you?
Oh, $4,100.
Seen that. Probably the cheapest advance bill I've seen.
I'm sorry.
Probably the cheapest advance bill I've seen. $884. Normally it's 18,000.
Yeah. I would say that when Wolf Creek started construction is when things really started changing. And then when it went online, it really changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause Lake Scene Power Plant, when it went in over
When
there.
they started construction, Keisha was in the first grade, and they went from about 40 kids to 100 and some kids, cause I was on the school board, and we had, 5 classes of first graders. So 20-some kids in each class for 2 years, and then when the plant left, and she went back down to like 40 or 50 in a class. Cause they were all young people and had young kids.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember the big talk was a brand new fire truck, 10-story ladder truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember my parents being upset. Well, that was just for the power plant.
That's when Burlington got their ladder truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Tim and I just know that, we don't have any titles behind us.
You don't, yeah. Look at that, look at that.
I know, that's what I say.
I guess I better sign it nice and neat.
Yes, you sign yours, and ours don't count.
And what is your title?
We're just average guys.
That won't go in that basket.
Yeah, that won't go in that basket.
Alright.
Yeah, that. Oh.
Yeah,
okay,
we
wait.
got- yeah, we got him
We'll
in.
give the book back.
Yeah, back.
Give the book back.
Jesse's pushing, yeah, Jesse's pushing too quick there.
I'm moving.
I shouldn't have handed it to
You
him.
got,
That was I shouldn't have handed it to him.
that's cheap.
Flex maybe, on that's not much truck, so I'm okay. That
Must have got a door
big
now.
road bit.
Flex seal?
Flex seal, yeah. I'd like to see that work.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go out on a very deep pond as that boat.
No.
There is some tape that we use on those pneumatic product lines when they get blowed into. The material eats them away. It's about a couple pieces of paper thick. Boy, you can just wrap it around there. You can't tug that stuff off. You can't.
There's some sticky tape and stuff made nowadays.
Yeah, there's some tough stuff. If you can get it off, you can reuse it. It'll re-stick. But
Really?
you about gotta have a team of horses to pull it off.
Can you eat it and take it off?
I don't know, never tried that.
Internal revenues. Ends for-
One joystick, $1,300.
Oh, yeah.
That's for the Atari game.
It's for the Atari game. PlayStation.
Somebody's coat jacket. Went to get out.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be gone in February.
You know, we do them towers, and I'm not opposed to doing these things now while we have the money, so that when we no longer have the money, the county has this stuff available.
Mhm. But the upkeep's gonna be pretty expensive then too.
Yeah, that's the thing, and they may have to.
A licensing fee.
They may have to do something different, but at least they will have it to start out.
I should be here, but I think it's the first week of February. I'll know more later on. Going to West Texas.
I wonder how's the internet coming along.
We haven't had an update on that for a while, have we?
I've been kinda watching Waverly and it's still not available yet.
You know, that was one of the things that when MT Network came in and we gave them $2 million some dollars, is, man, everybody in the county will be able to have internet. It didn't work. Do you have it, Tom? Do you have MT?
I do now.
You do now, finally?
Well, I did the wireless
Got
part.
a Levo?
Huh?
I did the wireless
You
part.
did the wireless.
Yeah, it's like 5 blocks from my house is the fiber, but I had, in order to get it, I had to go wireless, and it is quite a bit faster than what I had, I'll have to admit that, but it's just,
That was one of the things that they tried to tell us. They said, well, everybody's gonna have, internet's gonna be available to everybody, and crap.
Has that been 6 months?
No, this has been a few years ago. It's
This
been,
is the last update.
oh, the last update.
500,000.
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Well, didn't people, we turned that over to,
that come out of that CARES money.
CARES
Yeah.
money. Mhm.
but something held that up for some reason, or something
Did it?
about that.
It finally went,
Did it finally go?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, this one's ready.
Oh, I thought it was held up because we couldn't actually just go out
You
and
already
pick
said that, I think, didn't you?
Yes.
someone. I was thinking they had to go out for
There.
bids.
Mhm.
Alright, when you get it.
I don't recall that.
No, it went through,
Signed a check for it.
I haven't seen a check, but,
That's why I was thinking it hasn't.
well, I
we
think
haven't
all
got
that
it
went
checked.
through, all that went through Southeast Kansas.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that the state or somebody said that couldn't be done that way because it had to go out for bids.
That's right.
I'll check with Bobby,
I don't recall.
Was that one?
And that's what
Bobby's in tune with it.
has postponed it.
Wonder if that could have something to do with, FCC? Surely not.
I don't know. I was thinking there was something bid process.
Clayton hanging up somebody north of town, cause he's close to that tower, and it is fast.
Yeah, I'm fairly close to the tower, that's why mine's fast, but the gentleman that hooked mine up, his mom lives up like 4 miles southwest of town from that same place I get mine, and it turns is unreal too.
That's good, bring it on. I'm tired of using the satellite.
And when a flock of birds fly over, you lose your internet.
Exactly.
Well, I haven't hit a foggy condition or anything like that to see what's gonna happen.
Should affect it.
Uh,
Right now, if a rain cloud moves over, yeah.
Cause I'm only 3 blocks from that tower, so.
Were you on the Blue Water Tower?
Clayton's just barely down the hill from the old water tower, and that's what it's on.
I was doing close to 150 for cable and then another 50 for internet. And now I'm just doing 60 for television and 60 for internet, so.
See, I'm doing 70 for DirecTV.
Yours is 70 on direct.
You must have the basic.
We've got, then we got a couple packages up, cause ours is,
110?
yeah.
Since it's just me there.
I think it's less, little,
I've never gotten it that cheap for DirecTV.
I did, it was awesome.
Ours is 59.
Maybe for 2 years, then they'll catch up with you after the 2 years.
we were with Dish, and every 6 months, we had kept going up, so.
Yeah.
We had Dish Network, seemed like, yeah, we got it back down to 59, and then a few months go by, it goes up 10, 15
Mhm.
bucks, and then in another year, it was $110, and I called and told them, I said, I'm done. Well, what can we do to keep you? You can cancel my package.
I'm pulling HughesNet up right now.
I'm sick of it.
HughesNet is 7028.
Unless that's improved over the years.
Oh,
That was
it's
the
terrible.
worst for me.
Before that though, I had Dial-Up.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Which is, this is light years ahead of dial-up.
Oh, yeah.
Cause I couldn't get anything out of the house I was renting at that time.
We've got backup landline for the office, and it does relatively good. It really does.
I couldn't get it out there, cause it's not fiber optic. I'm beginning to get enough service with my cell phone that I feel pretty comfortable. Now, I'll probably do away with the landline.
We did it with a US set or a landline here 3 years ago. We got where we wasn't getting nothing from CenturyLink.
That's,
We just,
mine will be out for 2 weeks at a time.
ours wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good.
Nobody knows it, so they don't report it.
No,
Well, we have CenturyLink, because that's where our internet goes through.
yeah,
That's the only option. That's not the only option now, I guess, but I did go to CenturyLink and quizzed them when, Cancom came in. They said, oh, well, you're eligible for more megabytes or whatever that stuff is called.
They won't come.
And I said,
I was just like,
how long has it been eligible? Oh, quite a while. I said, how come you didn't tell me?
Well,
Well, we don't,
just for the night.
until someone asks, we don't tell them.
They do
I
a
said, well,
bull riding competition.
Yep. Imagine that,
but
right?
they,
Where
they
they
couldn't
keep going down the middle, that's
Oh, really?
every year's Eve.
Oh,
Was their last
I
one pretty
thought
fun.
Bobby was
that
taking.
would be fun. I haven't been there in years, that's when the whole riding was over.
He was for a while, and then
Oh, my goodness.
people was bitching because he had it blocked out, and I told him, I said, just
We
do
might
it,
go up there,
just do it.
I had a couple of.
It was like Garnett shoot, he'll be taking county vehicle for that. I can
But
see
last year
one
we
of
went to our
these
friends and
Mhm.
their students, like everyone was
Although
like,
with
good night,
Garnett.
and I said, okay, good night. I'll get back and ready
where's
for
the
the.
zone out?
Agricultural meeting.
At one point, it was, I think it was like 10:30, or we were all like, God, it's only
That was
10:30.
depends on,
Don't start.
Where do you have it on Main Street?
Yes, we do, we flew the zone, or the
We
drone.
get down there and we go to
Oh.
my son's and he's out, he cleans out his garage. We set
But he
up
ought to be
on
taking
board
county vehicle for
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff, not even.
on his drive.
What is, what is the activity in and out of there, where's that from one house?
Yeah. Keep everybody out there.
What's that tell you? It's kinda like Parker, Kansas.
Well, that's on the tax sale.
Oh, it's,
We play Jenga.
so this place will be empty.
I love cornhole, nobody will play.
We've got things left in
I
it.
feel like, hey, oh, that's fun. You
Yeah.
don't even have
Probably
to-
nothing,
yeah.
light fixtures, copper wire, be gone.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
be a
regular
shell.
place.
You hold a beer on that,
Exactly, yeah, that's just.
And it's not much of a shell, I don't
Doesn't take
think.
a whole lot, like, yeah, you don't have to stop, you can still talk, get a drink, start.
kinda like, I like my Connect Four too.
Yeah. Probably, I know I'm not a good sport, so maybe nobody likes playing with me, because I'm not a good loser if I lose. Maybe it's me.
Could be.
Well, they were in person.
We tried to have a tournament yesterday, but I was tailgating, my daughter-in-law kicked everybody's butt.
And I can't usually just play for fun without trying to win, so
Oh, yeah?
these girls will get
Well,
mad.
Tone it down.
We might
I
not need
know,
it
that's
this
what
year.
I'm like, it's just a game if I win, I'm like, oh, you're a bad winner and a bad loser, so I'm like, good win.
We might not need it.
My new Carhartt shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did purchase them down here.
There at Baumgart.
Yeah.
18-inch tires.
Honda did.
173.
HR partners in November, we have approved some changes, and we just, I knew we did something, but I forget what it was. That's not a bad price, really, Bob.
Yeah, Wayne presented
261,
that invoice and we went through it.
I don't have 18, I've never bought 18, so I don't know.
It's hard to buy a pickup tire under $200.
Oh, you go to Lewis's.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I did, at Lewis's.
They got a target date when they're gonna open up the Family Dollar store, as fast as it's moving along.
It's moving along. I haven't heard the target
I
date.
haven't been by there now for 5, 6 days.
March is what I was told.
See, that far out, even though they're as far along as they are.
I was told I wouldn't be open by March.
But it takes a long time to do the inside.
Yeah.
Once they,
Yeah, they put those shells up, so.
yeah, but once they have to do it all in. But that There's a lot of little things done that you won't
That's
even
still not
notice are
very
done.
far away.
No, it's
No.
not.
So the grade on that, and I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me, but from the building to the street, that slopes to the street, does it not?
Yes.
I thought it was not supposed to go into the street.
If you get, some of it does, and then the rest goes back for detention pond.
Right.
And it winds up out at the street, it's just so that
Time release.
everything don't,
Dump in there at once.
yes.
Okay. I thought it looked like, to me, it sloped from the west side of that building to the street.
Part of it does, but
The other side goes out and then comes back around.
when you walk around up there,
We probably,
the vast majority of it slopes towards back to the east.
Okay.
when he comes up again, I'm gonna take him to look at that. He's only had 3 meetings from last year. He's been on there quite a while. He was a new guy coming on.
I don't even remember.
He used to be the chairman, vice chairman, chairman. But, yeah. Three out of 12.
Wasn't there 1,600? Like 2 months ago. Did I dream that?
It just, the attorneys just keep going up, but we have no control over it. We have no control over the attorneys for that.
For that 1,600, 2 years ago, that was 1,000.
Yeah, it was-
That's how fast it's
It used to
escalated.
be
When I
six, I
started
remember it was
here.
600 and something
I don't
dollars.
doubt that.
When I started here, which would have been 13 months ago, 14, it was $1,000.
$1,030 or $40.
Yeah.
It's up $1,670 now. And there's about 4 or 5 attorneys involved. Here's a KEC annual membership, $7,100. I didn't remember it being that high.
And I didn't know what it was in previous years, but that sounds about what the budget has for a subscription, so
It
it
is.
probably covers most of that.
I didn't remember being.
Wait till next month, we'll be at 2.
Chase County Detention Center,
Yep.
21 days.
$45 a day, too, instead of $35.
$945. Yep, that's going up too. No more crackers and water.
They're just getting water now. Can't afford the crackers.
That price? Gee, loaded.
Showed a chunk of prime rib. Whoa. On TV. I'll be eating my own hamburger for a while. But there's no inflation.
Nope. $2,719 just for inmate meals. For 355 meals. Wow. That's at $2 a meal. That's pretty cheap.
That's pretty cheap.
That's pretty cheap. Lunch is $3.50.
I don't think they've changed that. I think that's been the same price as for the last 4 or 5 years.
But it's a number of meals though.
Yeah.
A lot of those meals. I mean, a lot of inmates.
That bill seems to run $3,000 to $5,000 a month.
And that doesn't include the expense of having to have somebody go up there and get them each day. We use top cover, the 18-inch tires, but they don't have the same size.
Rare trim, yep.
No. Once I get through the bob stack there, I might have it.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
So is this $16.25 per case
Per month,
per month?
per month.
That's just like a retainer, isn't it?
12 months.
That's even if they don't do
You know,
anything,
that's even if they don't, nothing.
it's just to have them on a retainer.
That's a
See, that-
retainer fee.
That's $20,000 a year,
My head hurts.
in many cases, I'm not sure they do that. Many
It's
months.
still kind of worded the way that it's all
Just to have them there and
accrued
just,
hours. So even
I
if
think
they
there's
gave
either 4 or
160,
5, I'm
like, I
not
still
sure.
wonder why take off 160, because I know you can't go below that when you're giving it away. But
From
when you,
your question, it wasn't,
well, they'll say,
I know what you're saying now. I wouldn't understand it earlier.
because now what he gets maybe less than the 481, so that is what he's leaving.
So he gets 160 of that at full.
No, he gets that completely taken away, so he donated it. So because he was gonna lose 160 anyway, he
But
donated
that's
it.
not the way that reads.
Right, and that's where the question is coming in, is because he had that combined amount, so since they're gonna take 160 off and wipe it out, so instead of just leaving it and going nowhere, they're donating it to the
That's
sheriff.
not the way that reads.
what's not the way to read?
And then, so
So
now,
maybe I'm reading it wrong.
well, it just kinda leaves it open to interpretation, cause they could say it's for all unused accrued, well, now this is his unused.
Right,
He-
and that's what
he-
you were saying earlier,
Right, he gave that away, so now what he has left as
Mhm.
unused is 481, so are they gonna
he could've, out of 580, he could've gave the whole 580. I think, well, he could've kept everything but 160 hours and been paid in full for the 160 hours.
Did.
Because this says, whose separation from service with the county is not for cause shall be paid for all used, incurred hours of sick leave over 160 at half the ending rate of pay.
What happens to the
So
first
the-
160?
It's full rate.
Well,
That's the way because it doesn't state the first 160.
Which is what line it
it's
is.
at 1/2
And-
rate of pay, which is half time.
But it says.
Yeah, anything over 160 is gonna
over
be half time,
160.
but the first 160 is full time.
Full-time.
That's what it's, basically what it says.
Yes.
It doesn't state anything on the first 160.
It doesn't say you're losing it, it just says
It
over
doesn't
that
say
pay
what,
to 1/2.
160 is even paid for.
Is that correct?
Yeah, but
If you
that's
give
what
it-
I'm saying, this has been done this way since before I was here, so you're talking over 18 years, where you give the 160 back, and then you're paid for
I
half
think
of
we
what's
had
left.
executive session discuss.
Well, and I can,
I
and
think
it's
so.
confusing
I
to
do
you on
too.
160, because
Wait
when you
around.
start, you're not given 160 hours, you earn those
Ain't gonna be
160
going.
hours.
Well,
So it's not
maybe
like
we
you're
need to
giving
go
back
in
a
for
bank
10
that was given
minutes.
to you at the beginning, you started with nothing, you earned that first 160.
Well, if it's been done that way for 17 years, but that's not the way I'm reading it.
Well, I've never understood it to be done that way. I always thought when you gave, because,
Because you're gonna lose it
I'm
anyway.
not gonna, I
We're not
can't,
talking about anybody specific, we're just
I'm
talking
not
about.
saying anything, but I know a person who actually went from hourly to salary and lost all of his sick leave, and then he realized he could have given it away and didn't give it away, so it just disappeared.
What happened to the first 160
It
hours?
just disappeared.
Because see, this don't say nothing about the first
It
160
just
hours.
disappeared. But I will tell you also, I think our policy, unless it has been changed, says that if you go from hourly to salary, you lose all your sick leave and vacation, but,
That's not true.
Mm,
huh?
You
They
get
get
paid
paid
out.
for it.
If
They
you
get
don't-
Get paid for it.
They
They
get paid
they
for
get,
it.
yeah, they get paid for it, but if you come back from salary to hourly, then you get all your vacation and sick leave back.
Not if they've been paid for it.
Yes, you do.
Only one person did that,
The
and
policy.
their department
I was
head
gonna
said
ask
to
you
do
one.
that.
And did it get changed? But that's where that's what our policy said, so did we ever get that changed? Because that did happen.
Might think about it, but the way I read this, you get paid in full for the first 160,
Even though it doesn't state so, you probably do.
because it says anything over 160 is half.
Yeah.
So the first 160 is full.
Gonna be
What
full.
I have always thought, what it went here was, you got paid for the 160, then you got half for everything over it.
That
But
is
if-
not
but-
what's been happening.
But if you give some away, it's gone.
That's what this policy states.
Nobody gets it.
First 160 is full pay, and anything over 160 is half.
To say that.
We might
It
want
doesn't
to
specifically say, but it doesn't
Because
say
of the way
you
it's
lose it.
stated, it's basically informing that, or
Well,
You can't read between the lines.
can't read between the lines.
I fully realize that, but that's what that is actually stating.
Maybe we better talk to Wade and then,
Because that's the reason most of the shared leave is people giving away their 160, since they're like, well, if I'm gonna lose it anyway, I might as well donate it.
You wouldn't have a shared leave without it.
Right. But, and that's where most of it comes from, is everybody
So-
who thought, well, instead of it just disappearing, I might as well give it to the shared.
So
leave.
you're saying they'll give away their first 160,
Mhm. Because they thought they were gonna lose it.
and they don't
anyway.
get anything for that?
Right.
Not
But
at
then
all.
they get half for everything
Correct.
left.
That's the way we've been doing it,
Since before I was here.
well, there better
Well,
be,
that's why
there's gotta
the-
be some clarification.
Well, that's what the question is, because why would you, the 160, you can't go below that to donate, so that you have a, kind of a nest for yourself. But it's not like you were given that 160 when you started, you started with nothing and you earned above and beyond the 160, but you're having to give back 160 that you earned, and you're completely losing it, and then getting half of the remainder. And that's where the
I'm
question.
totally confused.
But it never says in here, yeah, lose 160, that could be interpreted that, yeah, the 160 should be full pay, and then half beyond that,
Technically, even though it don't clearly state it, it is,
to pay.
it is basically, it basically reads that way to me, even though it isn't clear.
I don't read it that way. And I never did understand it that way.
I read into it as what's there.
I always thought you got paid for the first 160,
That's
and
the
then you
way,
got time and a half for that. But
Halftime.
halftime for that, but a lot of people donated above and beyond, because they gave to the, and some of them had received from that department, so they went back and gave some for
Right.
that.
So that's where the donating the 160, the retirees is coming from, is because they thought since they're losing it anyway, might as well donate it, the 160 to the pool, basically. Because, yeah, they have not, as of now, they just lose the 160, correct?
Mhm.
Right, and then so the only thing you get when you leave is half of what's left after they've taken off the 160.
I think we need to get some clarification.
Yeah.
We absolutely need clarification on it.
I think if you really look at your policy manual, you'll find a lot of sections that aren't very
Well,
clear like that.
That's been discussed, that's what's been,
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
that's what's being resolved though by the retention of HR.
Yes. So it's
That's
gonna get
good, a lot of that's gonna be
simplified
cleared up.
And not that people don't wanna donate, but even like for the people who are retiring right now, would they be donating 160 to the pool? If they were
No.
gonna get paid in full for it?
No,
No,
and
no.
that's why it was done that way, because you wouldn't even have a pool. Who's gonna give 160 hours away if they're gonna get paid for it?
And we had
So
what,
basically, the 160 hours is a nest egg you gotta build up for yourself.
correct, yeah. And so you've built it up over the years, but you lose it when you
You
leave.
lose it when you leave, which is a required basis to have that nest egg build up.
Correct, so if you wanna donate, if you had 180 hours, you just can't donate more,
You could donate 20.
right.
In reality, you should, my thinking maybe is, you can build up to 160 hours. To me, if you had 160 hours or less, you would get paid full, everything else would just go away.
Right, and that's what happens with the vacation time. You can't, like after a certain amount of time, vacation has a limit, sick currently does not. And that's why towards the end of the year, everybody's taking vacation before they use it or lose it, but sick doesn't have that same.
Because that way, if you had 200 hours, you could donate 40 of it to the
Right.
deal and still get your 160 hours worth.
And
Yeah, but
that's-
if you were gonna get paid for all of that, why would you donate
That's
any
what
of
I'm not
it?
saying, I'm saying you only get paid for the 160. Anything above that, you lose.
Yeah, but you've got some people that have, like,
A retirement plan.
1,700 hours.
Well,
So they get back their 160, and then they get half of that 1,500 hours.
I would say it needs looked at.
That's why you've always had people looking at the budget real close when they know they've got longtime people retiring that have a lot of sick leave.
How's the auditor set that up as liability? It is set up as liability on a report, how's it set up?
Total pay, their
Total pay for the 160, plus
Total
anything
pay
over
for
that
all of it.
halftime?
When they look at when the auditor looks at the leave balance at the end of the year, they don't subtract 160 off, they just look at the total hours, and they put that at full
And that's,
time as a
because I asked that
liability.
question here a year or two ago. They definitely are setting it up as liability.
Mhm.
And we're not following that accountability part of it either.
So I think,
Because the auditor is setting it up.
maybe that's Christina.
Yeah, they
Right.
get a
Christina needs to
report that
explain
says
this.
like, this many
Christina
hours
Needs to clarify.
sick and this many
Well,
vacation
I
on
bet
every
they'll
single
rewrite
person.
that.
Well, I know,
So
but
they're counting the
it's
whole
what it
thing
is,
as a
somebody needs to
liability.
explain what this is, because we have different thoughts on it right here now.
And it's
It'd
about
be interesting to see how Christina's reviewing that part of it.
Right now, you better just do it how it's been being done and leave it alone.
Well, I'm not sure how it's been being done.
She just said.
They give back 160, and then they're paid for half of the rest. It comes out to pay in half time for all of it, or you just don't wanna put a new rate of pay in, so you pay them half.
half of what's left after the
Yeah.
160. So the
So if you
160
have 660 hours, we're gonna take, and I'm using that for round numbers, you're gonna take 160 away, say they donate it to the fund. that leaves them with 500 hours. They're gonna get paid for 250 of those at full rate of pay.
Right,
And that's how it's been done since way before I was here.
okay, yeah. I guess
Not
they-
saying it's right, just that's how it's been
That's the way it
done.
ought to be done until we change it.
Yeah.
We can't just change it for one person.
No, no.
Right.
No, I'm not trying to, I just was
Yeah.
saying, I'm not reading it the same way I'm
Until we
seeing
do
it,
that, but-
same way I'm hearing it.
Right. And I think
And
that,
I'm not
that
saying I'm
5
I'm
different
right.
people can read that and come away with 5 different
There's,
interpretations
you
of that.
can, you can interpret it a little different.
Yep.
I agree.
I guess that's the way we've been doing it, we better do this time.
And then
anyway.
you get paid for all of your vacation that you haven't used.
The vacation, you only can build up so much, right?
Yeah. But you've had people walk away with $20,000 added to their last check because of sick time.
Now Joanne Ross found that out, or Brenda, one of them two found that out when that one person left, you know, I'm gonna throw a name out there.
Well, and that's what, cause, I mean, I have a large sick time accumulation, so then if it changes at some point, would it be like from the future on, or would I think, okay, well, I could take off for the next 5 months, so I don't lose the sick time I built up, you know, kind of a
That's
thing.
it.
So that would be another one of those transitions.
Well, there's $1,000 for consulting fees,
Oh, I just put one in there for
HR.
2,600.
I'm gonna-
586.
I'm gonna say it's for, oh, like a challenge coin? You know what a challenge coin
No.
is? Well, military people, it started with military people, that when you would meet someone, you had challenge coins of what your branch of the service was, you would give that to that person, and they would give you one of theirs. And that was kind of a deal. Well, the cops and everybody else have started doing that, that's what it's for.
You get 1,000 of it once?
Well, I'm sure they bought 1,000 of them, yeah, at $5.86 a piece. That's what they are.
How long would that last, 10 years?
A year if they want to give them away. I don't know, man.
They wouldn't greet that many people in 1,000.
Well, I don't know how they do theirs.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's,
But that's what it's for.
that's what a challenge coin is, you know,
I've
it
never-
started with the military.
Never heard
And a
of
lot of other people have jumped on board with it.
I got one from Wildlife and Parks.
Got a few of them at home. So that's what it is, I suppose I don't know when they give them out or who they, give them out to. They may just give them to, I don't know, thousands of them, an awful lot of them.
Well, if every officer had them, you know, each one had, what, 25 or 30? But it wouldn't stretch out as far as you think.
That's what they are. About the size of a $half, or
Yeah.
1 3/4 inches
Be a little bigger.
diameter.
Yeah, be bigger than $half.
And I don't know whether they're actually metal or whether they're poker chip deal.
They should be metal. but-
They should be metal at that
Yeah.
price.
They have more value than the dollar does now.
Some of them are worth quite a bit of money, but you get out there and look at some of them, because they no longer make them,
That's where our dollars going down.
they're out there. But every unit had
Is
them.
he on here? Sheriff's officers?
Why are we paying for
Mhm.
it? Because it was probably an unintended death. So they had to perform an autopsy and had to send it for an autopsy. All in it, we have to pay for all unintended deaths, have to have autopsies.
Okay. That answers my question.
Yeah, it did.
Not that I'm a
I've
cold
been
hearted.
around here as long as I have, you'll
As long as
know.
I'm not a cold heartless individual, I just didn't understand
No.
why we was paying
Yeah,
for it.
that's what it is. We pay for a lot of things that
I'm not sure
people are
that's our
not sure of.
responsibility, Jesse, but we,
Well, that's what where's it fall to?
I asked that question 5 years ago.
But we do, we always have.
I figured if the family wanted to,
It might have something to do with the law too.
see, that's what
Because
I'm
it's,
saying.
if it's an unattended, they might have something to do with it, because it's not, it requires an autopsy to see what that case of death was.
I haven't asked any other county commissioners from other counties, but I'll bet they're doing the same thing.
I'll just stamp COVID on it and call it good.
There you go.
Government will pay for it then.
There's a lot of coverage in it. You know, all these attorneys deal, we also, pay for interpreters and everything else. You shouldn't have to pay for an interpreter. You can speak English, go to jail,
It's
deal.
part of the, I used to thought it was part of being a citizen of the United States.
If you can't speak English, go to jail until you learn how. Yeah, we do. A lot of things we pay for. Need money. Plastic sign, plastic sign.
Denise, on our credit cards, do we get any cash back?
I'm not sure. I would have to ask, Jessica, who pays the bill.
I just wondered if we're, as often as we have to use them.
I don't think we do.
Just everything else.
I'm keeping you in line today, or as much as I can anyway.
Who is this? Who is that guy? Is that,
Yeah, Brad, Banneker, Brett Banneker.
Brett.
Mhm.
Let's see.
God dang, it's expensive for KAC membership. $7,100.
We quit paying. Every county doesn't belong to that.
I still got Donna's name on it.
Yeah, that's supposed to be updated. I asked them to. but-
Don't pay the bill, maybe they'll update it. God, that's a lot of money.
And I can find out what all that
That's
includes
pretty
too,
good.
if you want to see if there are other options for membership that are, because I'm not sure what all, but I can if you want to find out if there's other membership options or.
Speaking about that, have you heard from them on Zoom?
Nope, not seeing it. I can,
Would you mind calling them?
I can call.
You were gonna do that.
I am, but we gotta get the information so I can.
Call-in number.
Oh, that wasn't, that's not till next year.
It's, January
January 5th,
the sixth, right?
of the KC,
voting.
Virtual, vote.
I never did get anything.
I haven't gotten it. I wonder if, I did get an email, but it, I think just came to me also, but it was something with that county clerk. I wonder if she got some, I can call back and find out.
Absolutely nothing, right?
Okay, I see.
Other than going to their.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that one's requested by,
Yeah,
the other one, what, had nothing about
I'm trying to
requested by.
see and see about what's, if there's a little more funds.
That's fine.
Full truck, every dozen truck.
Before we go around, it's like that.
I'll go hurry and see if I can find, at least find out all the numbers she's included.
Okay.
Pull it up.
What, 1,000 shoulder patches? God,
internet expense.
here, don't we? We're gonna get a shoulder patch out with each one of the corners. We got 1,000 shoulder patches too.
Did I sign that?
Yeah, please. Not last long.
I guess it's under sheriff's, I didn't even pay attention.
It'll last a long time. You can still be there, boys.
Tell that, I signed that. Well, here's $17,000 worth of chemical for the weed department.
Wait till you see the next one. It's 80 or 90,000.
Really? Their insurance is way too low.
This time of the year, they're probably beefed up pretty good.
Well, yeah, because they give incentives, I'm sure you get discounts.
You know, I know where most of their stuff comes from Van East. I'm not sure where those two came from.
That was, Ag Solutions, Neutrina. Ag
Okay,
Solutions.
there's another one for 80 or 90,000 for some remedy and escort and some other stuff. I don't remember the.
what has urea done at Leroy?
I can't answer that, I haven't, I don't know what fertilizer prices is done here year end.
Yeah, it's
Most
not-
all that stuff's in that $800 to $900 range, and hydrous, I'm not sure where it's at, I'm not gonna say.
$70 an hour for interpret Spanish.
I think my brother said it was $1,600
For ammonia.
anhydrous.
Mm,
Yeah, I think 1,600 a ton or
a
something.
lot of it's going on in dry ground.
Well,
Not around
if-
here.
there's plenty of moisture there 6 inches deep. There's plenty of moisture to hold. The question I have, and I talked to the crop production people there, co-op the other day, the question I have, so much of it was put on with ground that probably was not below 50 degrees, and that is not good.
No.
Because once it converts to NH4, then it can move.
What
So
about?
I hope they don't lose it.
What about dry urea on top?
I'm not a urea person on top, it's gotta be incorporated in. It needs to be incorporated, and I don't have all the answers either. But,
There's a lot of it that's laid there a while.
are they putting down dry urea or just P and K?
I think dry urea.
Of course, I don't, your ammonia will outproduce your dry urea or liquid 28, either one probably 25 to 30 bushel in most given years. But a lot of people, some people don't like anhydrous because they feel like it kills the insects and the bugs in the ground. And there's basically nothing to that, but.
I don't know what the price of cattle if I'm gonna be fertilizing mine at all.
Your brome and fescue, most everybody will probably reduce back a little bit.
But I don't know if I'm gonna be running cattle on it come buying time.
With grain prices where they're at, feeder cattle market's still pretty hot.
It's, 450 weights.
What would they bring? 170? On that?
Over two.
That
450
light weight's
weights.
over 2?
Yeah. All it takes is 1 year of buying it.
Not getting it at the other end.
I've done that before that
Might
hurt.
be a good time to, might be a time to hedge them out. But the cost of gains in the feedlots now is surprisingly, they're, all the higher quality beef is still under $1, and most of it's under 90 cents. But my gosh, they're putting on 4.5, 5 pounds a day now.
My feed, mine is just a fat ration.
I think I did that over the last couple of days.
What's that?
Put on 4.5, 5 pounds.
My fat ration went up from about 110 per 1,000 to 160 for 1,000.
That's 50% increase. I'm not sure how the feedlots are able to do it right now.
I'm not either.
But I know their cost of gain is not up as much as what I think it would be for $7 corn out west.
Poor guys out in western Kansas, they need hay. All that burning.
Pretty good sized area they got burned down.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 400,000 acres.
They got it
that's
down
a
to
lot of acres.
they got it down to 160 now.
Oh, really?
162.
Oh, okay.
They totally exaggerated there at first. I
That's a
guess
big
after all,
difference.
4 counties involved in it, they got all the acres involved in it now, somewhere around 160 to 165, which is still still a lot.
It is.
Says still 300 square miles, which is, times 6 would be 180, so it'd be a 275 to 280 square mile.
$62,000 for chemical.
When we do year-end,
Van Dees.
basically it says, just not any department in particular, they have $250,000 left over, they're just gonna roll over the next year. When, they got a budget of $1 million this year, just a round number. When does that $1 million come to them?
In January.
January, so by the end of next month, there's 1 million for their budget, starts all over again.
Yeah.
You had to do it. Thank you, Bob.
Third,
You know, run your lunch.
come Thursday, we'll pull, come Thursday, we'll roll some money out of some of those accounts.
I did find out a little bit about the KC membership. Most of it is educational benefits. They have their webinars. It offers a cheaper rate for the conference. You can post job postings. It's the literature they send out. And it has gone up 2% since last year. He didn't have the figure, but that was the increase, was 2%. And it is based on county by valuation and population. And
You're talking about KC?
yeah, the membership. So most of it is literature and information. The county counselor can have a separate membership if it was something that was beneficial to him. It's only like, he said an estimate a couple $100 a year if the county counselor wants.
I didn't recall it was $7,000 last year, but.
Based on population evaluation, we're stuck real
We're stuck with
deep for the
evaluation.
evaluation part.
Yeah.
But look what we wouldn't be getting if it wasn't for the evaluation.
We'll be getting what?
Without the plan up there, maybe, that's where that 85% evaluation's coming from, 87%. Take that $28 million away from us.
Sometimes we'd be better off if we didn't have it.
I won't argue against that.
It's been good and bad.
There's,
It's been good, but
it's been tremendous for Coffee County.
It's gonna be bad one of these days.
Yeah, I don't think it might be as bad as you might think, I mean.
You know, when they shut one of those plants down, what value does it continue to have for a while?
Well, that's what I'm leading up to, I think it takes like 2 decades just to even decommission it. I mean, it's still gonna have value, not to mention you got a spent fuel rod facility out there which has value. And that takes like a century for that to go away, so by then, I mean, and, our economic development works, we'll be adding to
Right.
the surplus as we go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we gotta keep adding to it.
If you keep adding to it, it should balance out.
the biggest, quickest thing you're gonna notice is there's a lot of empty homes around. Because people will move on to somewhere else.
Yeah, because mill levy will have to continue to move up some.
I don't wanna do that nationwide, but still, you build on economic development. Just be prepared out there for Beto for when that pipeline starts traveling south from Lexa and Olathe and all like that. Be ready for that.
I mean, the south, you mean, going through, goes through Anderson County?
Well, what I mean is, I.
Southbound I-35.
I-35, I mean, I just see things, I mean,
Oh,
progressively moving south.
Industrialization.
Yeah,
Wellsville,
the
already.
pipeline that they just put through.
No, I call I-35 that pipeline of industry that just keeps shifting, I mean, look what it's done to Emporia. I mean, they built that industrial park readying for.
We're just behind the 8 ball, way behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Way behind.
Now, right, while we got the opportunity to do so, we need to be
Yes,
doing it.
I agree.
What's the deal on that? How come we haven't gone through with that?
I believe it's in, Travel Centers of Americas, I think they got it, I think. As soon as that one's signed, it's good to go, I hope. I don't know if this was, I just overheard talk, but Lebo Casey's, and I don't know if it was over what they used to do at the old store, but I heard 65,000 a day. That's what Casey Sleep Ups got. Now, I don't know if that was over what
I
they
bet
was
that's
doing
over what they were
downtown.
doing. I bet it is too.
See, that's strange, because I've been by there a few times, and it doesn't ever look like it's busy when I'm by there. Of course, I don't even
when I
go by in the
go,
middle of the day or
3
something.
o'clock in the evening or morning?
No, it's,
I wonder how much that is fuel.
Now, I was there last time, 3:30 in the morning,
Probably 60,
Anything
70%
going
of it's fuel.
I was getting fuel.
I bet you 50% of it is. At least 50, at least 50%.
So it's got, I bet it's greater than 50.
It might be.
I thought I'd stop there on the way to Emporia and just get a drink and a sandwich or something. I stood in line for a long time.
Yep. And it's kinda like Walmart, they got one checkout open.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the issue too. The girl that was doing it often, she ran 2 cash registers.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sign her up for a pay
Employee of
raise
the
or
month.
something. This girl was kicking it.
Well, you know, a lot of people like about Casey's is they don't charge any extra for credit card charges. And they're still normally the cheapest price gas or diesel fuel around, you know.
All done, Tim?
Yes.
Round table. Jesse?
I don't think I have anything, I don't know.
Don?
What I've got, I think all of you have probably seen the letter that has been mailed out to some counties and sheriff's departments and county attorneys and some businesses that have continued to want to do something annually towards the Veterans Honor Flight. And I think all of you know that the 18th flight took place in November, and it was an extremely good flight. Most of the veterans are younger than World War II now, so they don't have 2 or 3 or 4s in wheelchairs like they did early on. They had to have a pretty tough policy because of the COLA. Everybody had to be fully vaccinated, and everybody had to wear a mask at all times unless it was out in the open, like they would be in Washington, D.C. Another change this year, because our student population in Leroy and Gridley is getting a little bit less every year. So there was six guardians that came from the other 3 schools this year. The next flight is scheduled for April the 13th and 14th, or second week in April. And the coordinator, Jeff True, is going to double up. Reservations are fully in place for motels and buses and everything else that needs to take place several months ahead of time. But he is going to double up and take 50 veterans, maybe 52, maybe 54, and which will be 2 busloads back in D.C. They've done that once or twice before, and it's a huge undertaking for the staff, mostly Jeff and then Dale Fisher and Roxy Newkirk. Like I said in the letter that Danny Mathai and I kind of put together, it is by far the most successful veterans hub, and they call them a hub, in the state of Kansas. There's no other hub. It's done over 8 or 9 flights, which would be Hartford and Hopi. They've done a fabulous job there too. But, we've been contributing for the last 5 years, $2,500 the county has. Although last year we didn't, because there wasn't any flight scheduled for a year and a half. In talking to other county commissioners from Woodson and Allen and Anderson, they participated last year. They just wanted to do it every year, although we didn't here. And I honor everybody's feelings towards this. But to me, every citizen in our county is so important, it's unreal. It's just too bad our population isn't twice as high as it is, but without the workforce, it's probably going to continue to drop off a little bit. To me, our veterans, and I'm not a veteran, to me, our veterans, and like our young kids that participate in OK Kids program, you know, they're probably two of the most important groups of people we have in the county. That's my personal opinion. So I'd like for us to kick in 2,500 like we're due. The honor flights have restarted after 18 months of shutting down. And the last honor flight they had in April went so well, even with the COBRA, because they had to follow a very strict policy.
I'm all for supporting it.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm for supporting it.
I think we need to start back up supporting it.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I've said it every year,
Yeah, I know you have.
and I'm the only veterans here, I don't think that the taxpayers owe it to the veterans to do it. And I think it's just kind of a feel-good deal for some people. And if they wanna feel so good, they should have been there with us when we were there as veterans. And second thing is, this year is total different, because we passed a resolution saying that we do not support mandatory vaccinations. Well, this organization is requiring mandatory vaccinations if you wanna go on it. And I think we can't do it both ways, guys. We gotta go both ways, but my main thing is, I don't think that the taxpayers owe it. I think it's a great program, and I think it's great for volunteers. And another deal, I think it's a conflict when we have a commissioner comes in and asks for money for his lodge. I think it's a conflict.
This is absolutely not for our lodge.
It goes through your lodge.
But we have money that goes through other organizations too.
If we want, if they do give it, I think you should give it directly to the school. But I personally don't feel that it's, the taxpayers owe it to the veterans.
You know, to me, with the funds that we spend every year, and there's programs that definitely probably could be questioned. And to me, the veterans ought to have a priority. And without the funding coming in from different organizations and different businesses, it couldn't continue to have the Veterans Honor Flight, whether it's here, whether it's in Opie, Hartford, or wherever it may be. There's a lot of organizations, some are not schools, that are funding it, that they have one trip and it's done, one and done, and that's not right.
We're not an organization, we're taxpayers. We're taxpayers, we're representing taxpayers' money. We're not an organization. And I think that's great that organizations support it, but we, as taxpayers' money, I don't think that.
You know, the people that come up to me after we make a decision, I have never heard, never is a big word, I have never heard of one opposition of the county not supporting it. Never one word. And when we're setting out selling our tickets, that's all we're promoting is the Veterans Honor Flight. And the good thing, like in Lyon County, there'll be 10, 12 veterans sitting with us, and that does help sell tickets, I'm sure of that. But the comments that we get back from the veterans is extraordinary. Whether it's us promoting a program where the kids having a breakfast and a dinner, raising $6,000 to $7,000 once a year, or whoever's raising funds for it. So.
When we usually vote on this?
I'm sorry?
We usually vote on this time of year.
Normally, we've always done it in December. And we were a little bit reluctant on promoting it, because the last thing that our association wants to do is over-promote something. We think we gotta be careful about that. But now that the flights are up and going, I don't know what this flight cost in November, can't tell you. I know the flights, at the time they shut them down 2 years ago, for a group of 56 people, the flights were running around $33,000 to $35,000. I do not know what the November flight cost.
county supports, I forget what it's called, the kids that wanna take flight training. County sponsors that.
Yeah.
Taxpayers pay for that. Taxpayers pay for a lot of things.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, they do.
normally probably wouldn't, but given where we're at, we do go above and beyond, I believe, as far as the commission, as far as the county as a whole.
Can I ask
Hey.
you a question?
Go ahead.
Who's set the rules for the vaccinations, cause to fly, you don't.
As a coordinator, because
Okay, so it's the rules of, I was gonna say, the airline doesn't require it themselves, so that's the
well, I
rules
think the
for-
airline required, I'm not gonna answer.
Okay,
I think the airline required masks.
right,
Whether they required double, full vaccination, I'm not gonna answer that. That was put in place for the coordinator,
okay.
because he wanted to keep it safe. And that's one reason quite a few of the young people, didn't qualify. And I can understand where the coordinator's at. Absolutely didn't wanna have a veteran come back and have the virus. Trying to control that. Now, I know we didn't make the mandatory, and so we're a little bit opposite on that, but I respect the way they went. Cause the last thing you'd want is have 2 or 3 veterans come down. And did that policy control it? Evidently this time, maybe not next time. Cause they are exposed in a plane, they're exposed on a bus.
And
So you have to be vaccinated to go on out?
I'm sorry?
You have to be vaccinated now to go on out? Right?
Yeah, that was a policy they put in place in November.
Hmm.
That's the reason and like I said, they reached out to 6 students from other 3 schools who are guardians this time. And what's gonna happen in April, I can't tell you. Cause they'll need, instead of needing 24 guardians, they'll need 48.
And are they allowed to be repeat guardians? The same
Yes.
kids can
Yes.
go?
And what the qualifications are for the guardians to be able to go as a guardian I'm not exactly sure what their qualifications are.
I was gonna say they have to
But
be
not
vaccinated.
every student is allowed, not every student's.
Are the guardians gonna be vaccinated too?
Yep.
Have you heard anything from the veterans as far as complaints about having to be vaccinated on the ones that
I haven't, like I said, we haven't heard one, there hasn't been one negative. And as far as they go, of course, this will be the first flight since the COVID's taken place, but, the 7 years we've been involved in raising funds for our organization, it's amazing the comments that come in, especially when we have a lot of veterans standing with us in some locations. And Lyon County's, our last event we had up, and we go to Walmart up there 3 times. And normally sell 1,400 to 1,600 tickets. There's normally 10 or 12 veterans standing with us all the time, at both entrances. It's,
We'll be in a regular session when we come back Thursday, Greg.
Yeah, we'll just recess this one, right?
Right.
and like Bob said, if the funds goes directly to the school, that makes no difference. School gets it. Cause we have some of the people we talk to, the funds do go, some of the funds go direct. In fact, 2 years ago at our last fundraising in 19, for the funds that came in where we spoke or we set out, there was probably 15% of those funds went direct to the school, which is, so it's immaterial to us.
Is there different tax breaks on going to the school
They're-
versus the?
They've got a 501c3, ours is 501c10, ours is a fraternal.
I don't know which one's better.
They're all equal.
All equal.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I'm not, you're getting into a tax deal,
Right.
to my knowledge, they're all equal. Ours is 501c10. And there's several of those tax numbers, 501c3 is the main one for businesses, but I think there's 4, 5, 6, 7, ours is a 10. And we've had it for, I can't tell you how far back, further back than what I've been a member.
Anybody else got anything on that? Gonna ponder it,
Ponder it.
go on Thursday, bring it back up Thursday.
That's up to the commission. I just want, I've got strong feelings towards the veterans program and
Oh, and I appreciate that, but.
You bet.
with what, the funds we do, for just like the OK Kids, and that's a fantastic program, fantastic. To me, the veterans gotta be in that same class.
Yeah, I agree, I just don't agree with some of the stipulations, you know, that they're enforcing, but I understand the stipulations, but I don't feel because a veteran does not wanna take the jab, he's not allowed to go on the flight, that's,
Yeah. If
I don't know.
you think so much of the veterans and you wanna honor them so much, then you turn around and you wanna penalize them, you can't go, because I know there's one that didn't get to go because he didn't meet the qualifications.
See, I haven't heard of
So, to me, it doesn't make sense. We're gonna honor these people, but we're gonna make them, by gosh, go by our mandatory, get the jab. They fought for freedom, and then you wanna take it away from them.
Yeah, I absolutely don't see your point, Bob.
I know you don't, you're not a veteran, you don't see it.
Well,
But that's okay, I'm not gonna argue, I said my piece.
I hadn't heard of any veterans that didn't have a vaccination, that was asked to go that didn't have a vaccination.
I heard there was one that
Or,
didn't quite meet the guidelines, cause
Well,
they
there's only two
didn't have
guidelines.
it quick enough.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't matter, I just don't think that it's right. I don't think taxpayers owe it, and then I don't think it's fair that, right, that you take someone who fought for your freedom, and then you turn around and want to penalize them because they don't do what you want, so take their freedom away.
I guess the only thing I'd say to add to that is I never had to serve in the military. Just they took the draft away. I graduated school and went to work. Fort Creek was being built. I had a lot of family members that were in NOM and or some sort of branch of service, and I had to respect anybody that served in the military and did what they did. Maybe not the taxpayers, but the country as a whole owes it to, owes any sort of gratitude they can present to any veteran for doing what they've done, or going to, or had to do. But I would have to say I agree with penalizing them for not following. Yeah, they fought for freedom, and then, yeah, I agree, kind of taking it back away from them a little bit, but by the same choice, it can be a choice for that person, I mean.
It's a choice. They don't have to be vaccinated, they don't have to go.
Yeah, they don't have to go, so.
They don't have to.
So I think
That's
we'll
true.
table that till Thursday and bring it back up, see what y'all think
You
come
take-
Thursday.
you know, you take the veterans, when they were in the military, they were required to do everything within a policy. And to me, there's no difference in following rules and regulations and policy, because if they didn't, they're gonna be kicked out, I assume, or they'd be, I don't know what the right word is.
But you had a choice, you could either go in the military or you could not.
But if they're in the military, they had to follow all the
That's
policies.
exactly right,
Yeah.
because you agreed to
Yeah.
it when you went in the military.
When you signed up, probably did.
That's exactly, you agreed to it.
Yeah.
But if
That's
you was
a totally different
drafted,
ballgame.
So
but
what's
if
the
you was
difference?
drafted,
What's
You
the-
agreed.
Yeah.
You either went in or you didn't. I could've went to Canada, I could've been a conscientious objector, I could've got could've got a student loan, student deferment, but I chose to serve my country instead of looking for deferments of all kinds, so I wouldn't have to. So, yeah, I had a choice, everybody has a choice. But
my
only-
dad would say it wasn't much of a choice.
It wasn't much of a choice, but he went in.
Back in
He
World War II, he
but
did it.
You chose to go in. When you went in, you became part of them. And that's not, and that argument is, oh, this is the same thing. No, it's totally different. But
Again,
everybody has a choice.
and everybody's got an opinion, so.
Yes.
We'll,
And we've got that right to have opinions, so.
Thanks to the military, you do.
so, let's,
And you're one of them sitting right there too.
ponder
have
that.
my thoughts on that.
You wanna vote on this too with us? We can table it till Thursday and everybody really milled over and see what they wanna do. Good enough?
Not really. When we don't take steps to help our veterans or honor our veterans, I got a big problem.
Yeah.
But
I'm
that's
not
my-
saying we're not going
that's
there,
my
I'm
opinion.
just saying, everybody gets a chance to actually really think about what they wanna do. Given the facts, I guess.
Don, who
Talk
sets
about
the
it.
guidelines on the mandatory vaccine to go? Did the school, or did the?
You know, I'm not gonna answer that, sure. I think it was probably the coordinator, which Mr. True. Him and probably some other people involved in that decision, but I can't answer that. They wanted to keep that safe, and you can't, there's no way you can argue against that. You know, they didn't wanna have a whole bunch, a few veterans or a few young people
You know,
to be unvaccinated and do the exposure.
I'm gonna throw this out. To me, it's like me getting on a pulling tractor and pulling it. I sign a release. To keep from sled operator, the ground owner, whoever, you sign a release. To me, if they're willing to sign a release to hold harmless, and they can provide a test that they're positive, or negative, I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah, just because that veteran went to go on this flight and he wasn't vaccinated, doesn't mean he's gonna spread the virus, because he doesn't have it to start out with, you don't know if he has it. So that's, to me, that's another one of these false things.
If he can test negative, sign a release.
But they didn't test veterans, I know that. Other than had to be fully vaccinated, young people and old, and the staff and the doctor that went with them.
We know this program, when it first started, we gave them, the very first year, we gave them some money, and then we quit giving them the money. And then when Don came on, we saw once we started giving money again. Well, there was quite a few years we didn't, they still had the programs, they still. I'm really probably gonna get a lot of on this, but I think to me, it's just kind of a feel-good deal for people. It makes them feel good because they really.
I like honoring it now.
They didn't have anything to do with it, so, but one makes me feel good, so I'm gonna show that I'm doing this. I mean, it's after, and I can't speak for World War II veterans and all them, but after the service I was in, we came home, people treated you like crap. So let's feel good about it, so. And I think it's a fantastic program if it wasn't using taxpayers' money.
Table it. Till
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah.
Anything else?
No.
The only thing I'd have, you just bring up again, we will be having discussions after the first year about what we're gonna do for separation or retirement of Wayne and what direction we wanna head with that. Need a good, solid idea, plan, and whatever, however you wanna word it, but lots of discussion and discovery maybe need to be happening
And I think we need to be doing it
sooner than later.
later.
Yep,
Yeah, we
I
sure
agree.
do.
I agree. That would be the only thing I'd have for today.
And one other thing I think would be just a follow-up on this big policy then, is human resources the next person then to kind of see where to go with it, or is that gonna be a meeting that you?
I'm just gonna throw my 2 cents out on that. Whatever's been happening in the last 17 years or whatever needs to happen, and then we can, I do know the policy manual is gonna be basically somewhat rewritten, so we'll just wait for that time.
So nothing-
That way we're not
Okay.
changing.
I agree with that, whatever's been done, that's the way this one should be handled, we can't just change this one.
Yeah, no, we'll just leave it. And I wasn't trying to change that one.
No, I know, I know
I'm
you
just
weren't,
trying to say, that's not
that's
the
what
way
I'm saying, we can't just change it
Right.
because of this.
So that's why we're gonna leave it alone.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's like, so for the next step on this, that's already in the works?
Yes.
This is, okay.
Yes, policy manual, to my knowledge.
It's definitely one of the items that needs looked at.
One of the things that's being looked at severely, yes.
And then I might have been out at the time, but so what time on Thursday?
10?
10:30.
10:30 is what you said.
10:30.
Or
Yeah,
what we
Angie said 11 or 11:30, and you
Yeah.
guys said you'd get here at
Whenever.
10:30.
Okay,
Make it 10:30.
I'm fine with it.
That's it for me.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? No, we'll recess at 11:27 till Thursday at 10:30. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I did.